I'm sorry for being so serious, but I had to concentrate on what I remembered. So then we went on and flew the rest of our missions, and we bombed such towns as Hamburg, Germany, and Royan, France. One time we bombed Royan, France with napalm. I'd never heard of any planes in Europe dropping napalm, but we did at that time. And then we bombed just a bunch of other planes. Wessel on the Rhine was another one we bombed, and so on. And we all told we bombed 21. Went on 21 bombing missions, and then the war was winding down, and somebody made arrangements with the German commander in Holland to have a truce, and because the people in Holland were starving, and the Germans couldn't feed them, and so with the truce we formed what they called Operation Chowhound, and they loaded our planes with all kinds of food and cases of tinned foods and so on, and we flew over Holland at low altitude. And I'm saying, roughly several hundred feet maybe, and flew practically around windmills and so on, and we could look down and see German soldiers standing there watching us, but they didn't fire, and we dropped our load of food from the Bombay, and the Dutch people were standing on dikes and waving flags, American flags and Dutch flags, and cheering and all that. And so we came back from that, and then later we went on another Chowhound mission, and this one was to I think Utrecht, Holland, and dropped another load of food, which made us feel pretty good to be able to help the people and keep them from starving. So, and anyway, about May 8th, I believe, was the end of World War in Europe, and it was called Victory in Europe, or VE Day, and so we were confined to base for some reason, and I don't recall much celebration. Just we survived, and we were happy to be alive, and so that took quite a while before we were able to go home. But we flew a plane from our base to Wales, and from Wales we flew across the Atlantic Ocean to Iceland, and landed in a place called Keflavik, I believe, and we stayed there a few days because it was fogged in and so on. And then we took off from there, and we flew across the lower tip of Greenland and into Goose Bay, Labrador, and then flew down across the St. Lawrence River into Connecticut. And that was on the 4th of July, and I fired flares out of the top of the plane for celebration, and never forget that day. And so anyway, we then were processed there and turned in some of our equipment and so on, and then I took a train and came home and to see my folks on leave, and I was surprised. I'd only gone about 3 years, yet I was surprised how old and smaller my folks were. It just seemed like they changed so much during the war. So then I was sent from there to a place by Los Angeles. That airfield up there. Anyway, an airfield up there near Los Angeles, and given the final discharge papers, and then I caught a ride to the depot, and took the depot. From the depot, caught a train that went down to San Diego, and that's how I got to see my folks. So then I was home for 30 days, and then I went back to Sioux City, Iowa again, and later to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and we flew around there for, seemed to me, a month or so, and then we went from there. We went down to Deming, New Mexico, still in the Army, and we were then had nothing to do in Deming, New Mexico, except go to the swimming pool and climb ropes and use the exercise equipment, and so I was pretty damn healthy when I finally got out, and so then I was discharged and was sent home, and that was November 15th, I believe, 1945. So.
I'm going to back up a little bit and ask about your brother. Was he in the war?
My brother, yes. My brother was 2 years younger than I was. James Robert is his name. And he enlisted in the Navy when he was old enough. And that was near the latter part of the war. And he was sent to Pearl Harbor. And he was in Pearl Harbor and at Air Base there, and helped doing stuff. I don't know exactly what he did, but mainly he was I guess a lower, first rank Navy guy. Anyway, he was then later discharged after I was. The Army had what they call, for discharge, they had a point system, and you had to read how many months you were in the military, how many months you were overseas, and whether you were in combat or not, and so on. All those things added up to so many points, and so then you were released in as a result of your points. And your points could be more than somebody that had more time, but maybe not in combat or something. So that's how they.
Back to San Diego.
Yes.
Were they holding on to you because the war in Japan was still going on? Or?
Yeah. So I actually, I guess I left out one thing. While we were still over in England after the war, they started teaching us Chinese. So there's a Chinese military guy there that he started teaching us how to recognize Chinese characters and how to pronounce various Chinese words and so on, because we were expected to fly, learn to fly on the B-29 bomber and bomb Japan. But while I was home on leave, I was down in San Diego, and the war ended as a result of the dropping of the atomic bomb, so I didn't have to go to B-29s. So that was a relief in a way. And so that was August 8th, I believe. August something.
And another military question, all around the military. Why do you, and this might seem like an obvious question, but why did you want to join the military in the first place? Why did you sign up?
Well, there was a war on, and I felt it was my duty to be in the military. My dad had been in World War I, and all my friends and we all felt the same way. I don't know any of my friends that didn't feel like they should join the military, and they all, to my knowledge, they all joined the military. Most of them joined the Navy because San Diego being a Navy town, and the only reason I didn't join the Navy, even though I wanted to be a Navy fighter pilot, I couldn't pass the eye check. So I found out about the Army liaison training. That's how I went into the Army. So that's how I ended my military career.